Hi guys, welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 18th of February 2020. Quick overview of where we're at so far based on the look ahead. This video will be a public video. Just want to kind of give those over on YouTube and some of the other social platforms where I post this content, or the public videos, an opportunity to see what we do over here at Patreon. So based on the look ahead, we had some focus pairs: Aussie dollar CAD, Aussie dollar JPY, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, pound New Zealand, and then obviously the open study, which hasn't been triggered yet on copper, with a few other things sprinkled in, but I'll do those in a separate video tomorrow during the midweek review. So we sat down, we did some focused analysis on all of the pairs that we kind of monitor, and some of the indices and everything else, and commodities and whatnot, and we arrived at this conclusion that there were some pairs that we needed to focus on this week. So I'm going to go through those and give you guys a kind of an overview. Now, it's really important to understand, and this is directly to those on Patreon. When I do the look ahead, guys, it's you guys obviously have seen me do plenty of look aheads, plenty of focus pairs, and obviously the information that provides, is very valuable. This was never about me showing my trading prowess or anything silly like that. This is about focused attention. This is about drawing your attention to pairs that make sense, pairs that are easy to identify, and moves that are easy to identify. Now we look at Aussie dollar CAD here, and we have the monthly level, we've got the weekly level within the monthly level that we noted. I went through all of this and the reason why it arrived at this point, and we've currently moved since then 63 pips. So there was a really good opportunity on Aussie dollar CAD for a study, to watch it move 63 pips. So when I point these things out and I point these focus pairs out, obviously there is no right or wrong way to get into a trade, meaning there's no right system and wrong system. There's no right entry rules or wrong entry rules. There are just entry rules based on your own personal methodology. I know how I want to get into trades, and I know what I like to see to get into trades, and I'm sure you guys will all have different various ways of getting into trades, but it's important to start with the overview, the where is price likely to go. And then once you have that based on your read on price, your analysis over the weekend, your look ahead and so on, like I said, once you have that read, then you can jump into the ideas, lower time frame stuff, confirmation and so on, for getting into your trades. So we've had a nice move on this. We'll drop down to the daily. We can see it's been kind of grinding lower, and I am still expecting these these lower levels to get tagged. Just zoom out a little bit. This level down here, obviously made a clean note of this, and I did say that the Aussie pairs were likely to be the movers this week, and so far that seems to be the case. Not all of them, but so far that seems to be the case. And we're getting some really nice movements on these particular pairs. We've just dropped down to the 4 hour just to kind of give you a breakdown of what's happened this week. So well, so far anyway, we've got our Sunday open. Price didn't really go, didn't really move up much. Got a really nice drop, and then it's just been dropping ever since. So if we go down to the hourly, give us a better idea of what we could have done with this, maybe. Personally, this is not set up the way that I would like to see. But we had a small consolidation at open, nice little drop, another little consolidation. Nice drop during Asia. This would have been the Aussie news, which was released at 12:30 my time, or GMT. And then obviously we've been grinding sideways. But it's neither here or there in terms of the news. Like I said, this is not something that I would have been involved in. This is not something that, I was monitoring it. It's not setting up the way that I wanted, so there's nothing I can do with this other than just get in and trust my analysis, and then just let price do what I think it's going to do, which is not always a good thing to do. But it doesn't change the fact that the analysis is good, the study is good, the pairs that you're focused on, are the correct pairs to be focused on. So that's Aussie dollar CAD. We've got the Aussie dollar Japanese yen. Okay, still stuck up in this area, but we have had a little bit of movement this week. So far, I'll just have a quick zoom in. Again, this is the monthly level up here. We've got a little bit of liquidity up here, which would have been nice if it was tagged. But so far this week, we've had around about 68 pips. Again, it's a nice range to play with. This was the level up here. I just made a note of this because we were quite close. It would have been nice if it popped up there and rejected. That would have been my sort of entry, something that I would have been looking for. But again, you can see a bit of a grind, nice drop, and then it's just been dropping ever since. A bit of a tricky one for me to personally get into unless you're looking for a swing trade. But other than that, again, nice movement, good, good study. CAD JPY so far up at that level that we made a note of, which I'll show you in a minute. We've had around about 40 pips or so. Tradable range, a little bit of a scalp, yep, fine. But again, there's still plenty of movement on this to go, and still one that I'm going to be focused on probably for weeks and weeks to come. Just based on the way that this is. But I find this study. If you remember, we had an open. Excuse me, we had open. It would have been on the daily. It's easier to see, but we had an open pending short up here, which never got tagged, and I had a stop limit or a sell stop down here, and I just left those open. The whole of most of last week, never tagged on Friday, which is what I was hoping it was going to do, just do that final pop up in there. Didn't do that, so obviously we just cancelled the trade because I don't like being in trades over the weekend, and then we reassessed it this week, and it's still a viable pair to be watching. So keep an eye on this. The pound New Zealand, probably the biggest mover so far this week. And a little bit easier to understand. Got the level up here, got the weekly level down here. I won't go into it. You guys who've watched the look ahead, you will know what I'm talking about. And obviously we've had a beautiful move today, which is not really a surprise, guys. To be honest, almost 200 pips. Yeah, almost 200 pip move, and I am expecting these highs to be tagged. Can't change this, guys. You guys saw all of this in the look ahead. It's there. To be watched. And this week, this is a perfect example of what I like to look for, what I like to see. Nice drop from the open, beautiful reversal, a bit of a dip again, and then an explosion. If we drop down to the hourly, you can see it a little bit clearer. I'll zoom out just a little, so you can see got the weekly open here. It's come right down into this level, which we noted on the weekly. Beautiful pop. Okay, and then today, nice little move into, I'm not going to go into it in the public video, but a nice little move into what I know you guys can see at this point, and then a beautiful pop. And even if you were to just take the first initial range on the stop run up to one day's high, you've got around 60 pips. If you take the full range, like I said, just looking at the hourly, it's around about 160 pips or so. And then anything in between all of that. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities to get into a trade like this. I haven't been down to the 15-minute. The first initial pop is probably the easiest. This last little bit here is probably something that you just kind of hold a very small portion of your position on, and expect that last final rip into these highs up here. But this is a very, very easy study. And again, so far, of the 4 focus pairs that we're focused on, they're all pretty much doing what we're expecting. And we've had plenty of tradable ranges on those, except for the CAD JPY. In terms of the range is a little bit smaller, a little bit trickier, but it's not quite set up yet. But definitely going to be monitoring that going forward. Copper, just as a quick one, I'll stay on the daily, guys. I don't want to zoom out on this, but you guys know why. Those over at Patreon know why I have this marked here, and there is a lower level target down here, which you probably can't see on the daily. Yeah, it's down here. Look, basically, where I'm expecting price to go to. This is a study trade. This is not trade advice. If anybody follows along, I'll be very, very upset. Like I said, I'm not licensed to give trade advice. This is all for education purposes only, and they're all studies. They're all studies to learn, and to glean information from. I also got in my notes here the Euro New Zealand. It hasn't set up yet what I want to see, but it is an open study. It's something if it forms the way I said in the look ahead, then I'll do a quick video just on that one, because there's an interesting scenario unfolding on the Euro New Zealand, which will be quite interesting, and it will be a really, really good study. So I'll be looking to throw that in there at some point. The Euro JPY, which is a study that I do publicly anyway, Again, is just continuing to do what we expect. Monthly, I believe, now is in play. We sat through most of this on the way up into an area where we expected price to turn. I did all of this on the Forex Factory thread, in some YouTube videos. Then we took a little bit of a break. There's been a couple of opportunities on this throughout the way, or throughout the time that we've been spending on this. But the lower level down here, which is the one, it was 114.85 on the other platform. It's shown up as 114.85. That's the level that I still expect to be tagged at some point. And you can see we've had a beautiful turn, on the monthly so far. We drop down to the weekly, and it gives us more confirmation of what we're seeing. This is just an incredibly easy study. I don't know how else to say it. Again, if you've been following along with this, you'll know. We started way back here. And price was kind of going up, and I made a note of the levels, and I was saying what I wanted to see, and I did make a very clear distinction. And I said this is going to be a very long study. It's something that we're going to have to study for months and months, up to a year, possibly 2 years. But when you're tracking price like this, you stay on top of price, and it gives you a very good opportunity to capitalize on these moves when you get these turns. And obviously the range that we have to play with is insane. Yeah, you're talking almost. So I'll put it over here so I can see almost 700 pips, or just over 700 pips. It's a great trading range, and we had a couple of trades in this as well, along the way. So again, we'll continue to monitor this. This is the first area down here at 117.65 to 117.15. So I'll be very interested to see what price does at this level. I would be expecting a little bit of a bounce. It would be nice if it just rips down there, and leaves a nice imbalance behind, and then into this area of demand down here. But we'll see. We'll keep monitoring it. So that's it, guys. I hope the video finds everybody well. I'll be doing the swing trading update, showing you the pairs that I'm going to be monitoring for my swing trades over at Patreon. That will be sometime later this evening. And I think that's it. I think we've addressed everything. Just going through my notes. New Zealand, yes, we spoke about that one. And the pound CAD, that's something separate. Yeah, we're done. So if the copper trade triggers, obviously I'll let you guys know. We'll monitor that as always. And in the meantime, I hope everybody has a great day, and I will catch up with you very soon. Take care.